Welcome back to an episode of Tetsuo no Birdie, or Birdie the Mighty, Decode, Season 2, Episode 6. Last time we had the fight with Birdie and the remaining escaped fugitives. They blamed her for the murders, tried to shoot her with a fucking vacuum gun or something like that, or black hole gun, whatever, black hole sniper. Left her to live in a very stupid situation where they clearly could tell that she was getting weaker and she wasn't really in top condition. Heck, if they just retreated but still kept an eye on her, they could see that she fucking collapsed and they could just shoot her. And the show will be over. Fucking bit arbitrary and bit convoluted, not convoluted, but just fucking some type. Yeah, Birdie's consciousness fell into a coma. What the fuck? Senkawa is now in control. More fish out of war stuff, maybe. So I guess with that said, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Exactly what sense. Yes. I had coffee today. Why the fuck am I tired? Shit. It's salta. I had to pick up a notepad, not sticky notes of all the episodes I need to watch each week, and then left. Drama, I guess. Self-protects instincts. Well, it depends on what type of trip. What if it's like a trip back to fucking their medical centers? That trip would definitely fucking help. Oh, I'm finally using the detail of mental fusion, I guess, in this show. Brought it up season 1, didn't really do much with it. Yes, here it is. Oh. I think I still prefer the original Birdie design. You know, the OVA design. I don't like the bangs just being different colors from the hair behind it. It just looks weird. It's like having two sets of hair together. Okay. At least start. At least fucking look away when she's goddamn undressing. Okay. Well, that would be a good idea, though, awakening somebody when they're in danger and the mines. Full on flashback, pretty much. That doesn't look like an optimized door. It's this, but you're a ghost. How do you know? Okay, sure. I guess it's how she imagined what Violin was doing when she was showering. Start school. That just seems dangerous. Yeah, don't have fucking don't have good infrastructure for. Do they not have bike lanes or whatever hoverboard lanes? What racism? Well, speciesism, I guess at this point. Really, straight to the. Why? Oh, that's a trick. You just literally intention. Yeah. With a bit of quite a bit of bias. Yeah. No, that's just. Yeah. The problem here is just it's just grouping everyone together. He's back. Okay. Look for the flanks. Yeah. It's combat training. And genetically modified altigen. Yep, very much super soldiers. That's what the pain is. Painkiller abuse. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to prescribe somebody with painkiller stuff. Actually, not prescribe. Pretty sure he got that technically legally. Well, do you even know? Like, you know that she was altigen, but she didn't know more than that, really. $1 hour? Fuck the other children. If they fuck up, they fuck up. Well, case for assault. The question is, I know, like, I know racism, speciesism, or just discrimination in general will always prevail no matter which civilization, whatever it is. But how does a future like this make discrimination so blatant? Like, but the thing is, like, did they supercharge that technology to get to this point? Or what? Because if civilization naturally grew like this until this technologically advanced, everyone here should fucking learn in history class that, you know, discrimination's bad, shouldn't do it, and things like that. Sure, people still would discriminate, and maybe in public, but like, at this point, I would at least think there would be at least, you know, good police officers around. Even if there still is some bad things, but I would expect if in good graces, a civilization has lived long enough for this type of technology, would at least fucking improved their technology. Because civilization evolves the way of which way their civilians want them to, or pretends what their civilians want to. But over time, still the civilians win. Like, unless I guess Altagens are like very recent immigrants from another planet onto this society. I guess I could see that a bit more if they are less integrated in this society, because at that point their voices would definitely not be heard. And imagine, we already had this much discrimination across countries, but that's, you know, within a planet. You could at least easily visit each other, so see each other, travel between countries. But even in a time like this, it would still probably be not that easy to travel between planets. So it's, no matter what, I guess immigration would still be no matter what, I guess immigration would still be discriminated against to a certain extent, because you can't unless you're spacefaring, like, unless you're a spacefaring kind of job that meets a lot of people, you won't. There's very little chance you'll meet any other species, I guess. Old farts talking. That just seems bad thing to bring up out of nowhere. Mm. Mm. The full citizenship. So yeah, immigrants, I guess. Yep. Yeah, no, entrepreneur immigrants. That would that would definitely always be discrimination. As I said, what makes people or civilized or like living beings get to know each other less discriminatory against each other? It's just randomly meeting them, you know, things like that. More and more direction, just less bias and less things, or it becomes more and more either way. But yeah, against interplanetary, that's a huge jump. Unless there's like teleportation technology, I don't think that is ever gonna be a thing. But then again, even if they have teleportation technology, how many people would be willing to go outside of their planet? For a living being, I think a planet is big enough for them to explore. If they want to explore the planets, that's their goal. But most people would still stick to their one planet. As a civilization, we aren't ignorant. As a person, you are. Humans know a lot of things, but man, so individuals know very little. Yeah. But still, the only problem is here is I think it's just, I'm gonna guess the place where Natsuru was pretty alright streets. It's not like the slums or things like that. So there should be at least fucking police around that fucking stop thing. But then again, no, I'll say most fucking police. Again, most people are right. They're fine. They're not. Might be scared the first time, but they're fully willing to learn. I feel like the only problem with sometimes presenting a future setting that is not that different from our own is that has society really not advanced at all? I would say like discrimination definitely is still there, especially interplanetary discrimination. But society definitely would have evolved enough, at least definitely for a place like this that has already many species of aliens together in a central tower, a central civilization, that they at least has evolved at least police procedures and things like that to train them to catch these things. Because the thing is, I can't imagine each of those species being from the where whatever Matty is, where she is, the skeleton or whatever, and then also the more furry people. I can't imagine all three of those coming from one planet. So at least one of them has came from a different planet, I would presume, and they all built this civilization on this. They all, at least they reached interplanetary scale and then built a civilization. So they already fucking experienced discrimination before. At least against each other and things like that. It's just... I feel like it just feels way too blatant for this type of society. It feels too blatant. Heck, like in a lot of... Yeah, it feels just as discriminatory and things like that as like the Middle Ages or fantasy isekais, where you can expect, it's a lot more discriminatory in the past than the present, but like just to say proponent a future, I would call that a future civilization where the central tower is. I would expect that to be even less discriminatory. There's still discrimination, obviously. You can never fucking get rid of it. Because at some point, somewhere, some circumstances will always lead to discrimination. But I would expect they would have a way to deal with it, more or less. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I guess with that said, that's kind of it for this episode. Just they kind of setting up for the moment that Birdie has had a nightmare about that we're going to see next episode. Maybe a counter-terrorist attack that people think it's just getting rid of the Exorians or whatever. Maybe. But yeah, I guess with that said, that will be it of this episode of Tetsuo no Birdie, Birdie the Mighty Season 2 Episode 6, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
And here are the people who decided to sell out their souls. Welcome to hell.